Hello, and welcome back to my channel. This is Reality with Diva D. As promised, I told you I was coming back with 7 and 8, and now I will be all caught up with the Real Housewives of Potomac. Come on in. Like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell button. You will be notified when I upload a video. Speak when you're in the house. Like. Comment. So we're gonna get right on into episode 7. This is the episode what everybody's been talking about because we talk about Giselle, we talk about Angel. Well, Angel talks about not Monique, but Wendy again. Monique and her baby and Mama Bird comes back. So the episode opens up and Kiana is getting services by her own people, child. She getting some kind of salmon facial. Angel is looking for a home, which has been going on for a minute. That's been her storyline, looking for a home. And the catfish thing. So nothing good's going on there. Tia speaks to her mother, the queen of Nigeria. And she is the princess. And her little disrespectful ass daughter that I wanna, ooh, baby, nope, can't do it. Tell the grandmama everything that Tia says about her, and Tia says, I know when I started smoking, I was in a video, and I think my mom saw it. That's when she found out I was smoking. So Monique comes back. She's with a blank screen, and my mom Bird, and says that she is 300 pounds lighter. So Ashley comes over and they discuss all the ladies. She gets her tuned into what's going on with them. She tells her about Stacy and that Stacy is quite the liar, and for her to watch her. Because at this point, of course, Ashley is trying to stir up the pot because she knows that Stacy went out on a date or something with Chris. But amazingly, she didn't tell him. The filthy milkmaid held her peace at that point, which the filthy milkmaid never does. Now, she lets her know that her and Giselle started a fashion line, at leisure. And she says, you started a line with Giselle? I know you're not shading Giselle's fashion. Yeah, she is. And who don't shade Giselle's fashion? Come on now. That's what she was saying. And then she gonna say, well, she never been a bad dresser to me. Well, you can't talk. You know she's a bad dresser, but so are you. So y'all in the same look of her bread wagon. So she goes on to let her know that, Wendy is still a part of the group, and she says that she didn't really get to know Wendy because the fight happened. So she talks about the fight just a little bit, and she says she's let go of all the baggage that caused that fight, and it was childhood trauma that made her slap her castmate slash what she used to call her little sister upside the head. And we just keep forgetting that whole season she was actually harassing Candace. And nobody ever talks, that's on Monique's side, nobody ever talks about how she walked away from Monique 4 or 5 times. I can't remember at this point because I discussed it in so many videos. But I think it was 4 times that she walked away from Monique, and then this last time she decided to engage. And by this point, they even showed it that Monique had flipped her hair several times before she said, what you gonna do, Monique? Drag me? She said, you want me to? You want me to? And she just started, she flipped the shirt, she started flipping her hair and everything else that led up to the fight. So then we get to Angel. Angel meets with her sister that's 12 years older than her. Hey, only by birth would you know that. By knowing them from birth, because looking at them two together, you wouldn't ever think it. However, she talks about the catfish thing and how it was Wendy who she's very angry with. The Giselle says, you look at the pictures and you don't think that you are the same person. Well, damn it, you don't look like the same person. It looks like one of those AI images. But baby, when I tell you I did that one time and I looked like a sophisticated Caucasian lady. Getting ready to steal her husband's money, baby, I tell you. But it didn't really look like a catfish or extra filters. It just looked like an AI image. Like you can, put those AI images over your own face in a picture. It just, I wouldn't say she was catfishing. But anyway, it's a big deal. And she said, sister says, oh, I didn't know Giselle was not talking. I met her up close and personally, and I could tell she draws out those lines on her neck. Oh, sister. Well, yeah, because you don't see one line on Giselle's neck in picture, so yeah, she got a point. Then she called Wendy Miss Before and After, and Angel said, well, and Wendy, she can't talk with the Forrest Whitaker eye and the asshole lips. Now, where does Wendy have a Forrest Whitaker eye? Yes, she heavily filters her pictures, but you don't see Wendy looking like a different person. You see Wendy with a filter looking like herself. You could tell it's Wendy. Those pictures of Angel, come on, girl. When we see those pictures of you, we don't see you at all. Then the Hennessy's decide they're going to have $100,000 worth of work to their house. Y'all, this is a bad look. I know they're Wendy and Eddie Osefo, but they're the Hennessy's when they, buying those for the credit cards. Yeah, I was paying attention. And, it just, Wendy. Okay, so was this the insurance money that they received on the back end from when their house allegedly got broken into? Now, if that's the case, then they're supposed to have renovations, because same thing happened to me. When I got renovations done to my house, it made it seem like to the insurance company that I was just overdoing it. But hell, I pay you every month. So if some shit happens that I want done, I should be able to go back and get what I have wanted done from the beginning. And that's a lot of what I was doing. So I can understand that if, their house was really broken into. I'm not sure that their house wasn't really broken into. I need more evidence. Because this little standing on the toilet and all that evidence saying that they was having on rings and stuff after the fact. The ring could have been a duplicate. So that's not real proof to me. You gotta dig deeper for me, because I know how stars would do when they get duplicate jewelry, and that jewelry could be a fake Cupid zirconia. So you're gonna have to come better with me for that, more than just seeing her with the same ring that she claimed on the she filed on the claim. So then she talks about how she has seen her father in over 20 years, and Wendy is in her 40s. And it was her stepfather who walked her down the aisle, and then they asked, Eddie was like, why did they get divorced? And she was talking about how they were divorced because her father and her mother had different religious preferences. I bet you any amount of money their father practiced Nigerian spirituality. Probably because they have, colonization has watered down African spirituality so much, and when those chieftain and those people who live in the villages try to hold on to it, they are ostracized and criticized for it. So I bet you in her mind, because Wendy's mother is hell Holy Ghost fire. She acts like she is damn Pentecostal or like Mary, but she's supposed to be Catholic. So I bet you that's what the religious differences were. So Eddie, talks about how, it wouldn't be anything wrong with her going back to Nigeria, seeing her family. And I want to say, when we thought that Candace was coming back to the show, I don't think that this is going to be the last trip. I want to say that Wendy said that they are going to Nigeria, because a lot of people are asking how come she hasn't been to Nigeria for one of the cast trips. And I want to say that she did ask to go, or even if this is the last trip, Wendy did ask to go, because I remember her talking about it on Kelly Clarkson show. But so what? No big deal. She was bothered by him not wishing her happy birthday in the group chat, and I was like, girl, bye. You know damn well that he wasn't wishing you a happy birthday because he's not pleased with your choice in men. And that's a problem that I have with, you coming to America and then you keeping up with your Nigerian traditions and culture. So, on part of it, So, he's not happy with your choice of man, and she's not happy with you siding with your mother. And your mother is the one who raised you, so of course you have some allegiance to her. So Stacey meets with the gummy people, and she decides to name the product Shayo, the product that's in reference to the product that is in reference to her new found Nigerian roots. Do I find a problem with her naming it that? Absolutely not. Because then we have, we're going to see later on that Wendy feels some kind of way about her recognizing her Nigerian roots. But then we have Africans who come here and then, not only look down on us because we were stolen, but they also look down on us for not recognizing our African heritage. And then we do recognize our African heritage. They have enough nerve to say that we are culture vultures. And I'm like, no. You get mad when we decide we something else, and those people are what they are. Those new indigenous Americans, indigenous Black Americans. And so, it's just the whole. And then when we do that, we're disrespecting our ancestors who came up on the slave trade. So with me, I believe that I should, because what part I do know of are from the Ivory Coast, and I recognize that. I understand what happened with the slave trade. I understand what happened with the diaspora. I know for a fact that my people were dropped off at a port in South Carolina, and the South Carolina slave ship that dropped them off, old man Clay, which was the slave owner, he knew, to go down there and buy him slaves that day. So anyway, that's what it was. So then Tia kids have a party, and the party gets out of hand. That's in the next scene. And when that party gets out of hand, Tia's like, "How are you?" She talking to her husband. And he was like, "I was there." And then it's like, well, how did it get out of control when it was adult there? When the adult tries to placate to bad-ass, young-ass kids, that can happen. And wow, who else would cause the police but the daughter who can't stand her mother, who challenges her mother? I believe that little girl got Oedipus complex, by the way. Because she challenges Tia too much. And that's enough for me. And she tells her father, who's the cool parent, that, he was there, but, some of the kids got in the room and they slipped by the father. What? Oh, no, sir. No, ma'am. Couldn't be me. So, and next thing we find out that Giselle, Kay and Greg go to the Wu-Tang concert. Not much to see there. They go to counseling, and they're at the condo, so they decide that they gonna get freaky at the condo. That's what I took from it. But anyway, child, when the kids ain't around. So Giselle goes to Atlanta with Angel. Now Angel is experimenting at this point. And when she arrives, she finds out that the stepmother has drawn up a new will and the father signed it. But she's saying that it couldn't have been signed by her father because he would have left everything to she and her daughters. Giselle, that don't sound right either when you have siblings. Now, maybe he wasn't intending to leave everything to the stepmama, but are the siblings just by the stepmother, or does your mother have some children with him as well? Because it doesn't seem right to just leave everything to you and your brothers and sisters. I mean, you and your children. Now, I don't know. I mean, if they are by the stepmother, then she probably was protecting the interest of her children as well. So, I mean, I need more details because we do find out that you have siblings. And I don't think you are the only child between your mother and your father. From my understanding, you got a whole brother. But we don't know a lot about you, girl. We don't know that much about you. We just know your kids and that you were married to Jamal Bryant. But that's neither here nor there. And that a man named Sherman came on the show and you've been better ever since. And not had a storyline ever since. And you've been minding other people's business and making false ass, strange ass allegations against people's husbands. But that's neither here nor there. So, Stacy tells Wendy, they go out to dinner, and Stacy tells Wendy about the Pride invitation. And Wendy was like, I'm telling you, Wendy is doing it too this season. Not just Stacy. When she said that the people deserve so much better than that girl singing. Ashley singing. She's like, I hope she ain't performing because, baby, the people deserve so much better. So they get to talking about the gummy line. And when it comes to the conclusion that Stacy wants her life, I don't know about that. Like I said, I just think that African people, so it's a Nigerian name, she says. I just think African people shouldn't be bothered if we want to recognize our roots. She said, I'm Nigerian. But she said, you could have picked any name besides a Nigerian name. Why not? That's what she found out she is, Wendy. So anyway, there goes Jazz wedding. Not much to tell there because they only stayed for 15 minutes. So now it's time for the party. And STOP gives all the girls their names. So it's like, we're going to give the young lady who just had a baby, Miss Angel, who is stewing in her juices, that tried to have a good time, but is still obviously thinking about the catfish thing. Her name is going to be Oliver in her tits. Then we're going to talk about the lady who said, I have 4 degrees and people like you call me the Wendy Sweetie. And we're going to call her Degrees these nuts. And the lady who has been on the show who lies so much that they say lies more than anybody is going to be Liquor Dozen. And that's going to be Stacy. And Tia is proper. And Giselle is serving gin. Y'all, they said that in front of that lady daughter. Now I know Grace is a grown ass woman, and she was in doing grown ass things at this point. Giselle needs a grown ass buddy in her children, because when they were lighting her ass up when they were teenagers, it did seem just as disrespectful as Tia's children. So now that she's grown, she got a little buddy she can hang out with. And she was like, why is she calling me that? Cause I can't do that. I'm a woman. I'm a lady. So then we have Kay. Because she does treatments and whatnot and Botox, she's called the cum injector. So here comes Momo walking down the street, and then you hear a montage of different stories from Momo, and when she was in the yellow, and she was telling the girls that Giselle's old man Jamal was not really interested in her, and he was cheating on her real bad, and so Kiana says, "Oh, okay, so you're Monique." Here we go with the bullshit. And she says, "Yes, you married to Chris. Didn't you used to date Chris or something like that? What was that you who was supposed to be dating Chris?" So she decides she want to get things popping, and that's gonna carry us over into Unit 8. Unit 8. I mean, I'm saying units like that because I was thinking about work. We call our classroom units. Child, it's what it is, okay? So, Monique don't care. She was like, as long as that little bitty is treating my children with respect, RESPECT, then I have no problem with Chris dating. We have been divorced for 2 years. I expect him to date. Boop, 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 boop. And where does that leave Kiana with damn egg on her face? Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Wah, wah. Wah, wah. This is where I get that from. Price is Right. So Ashley also tries to inject herself into this conversation. And she tried to make a thing. And she's like, well, do you feel some kind of way about that? And she's like, no, no. And it's much to do about nothing in this because Monique don't care. Monique said that was a 300-pound burden lifting off her back, so she don't care. Okay, I told you Monique's supposed to be in that hotel life. I'm trying to tell you. So I was saying, it's okay to pay homage to Africa. I think you don't want to see me then, Wendy. I might not be wearing Ivory Coast clothes, but I sure will sport my fro and wear my like Monique and wear my unks. And Monique with that hotel stuff, she was telling people on DC when she went over there for 10 minutes about how Africa, real name, the continent of Africa, real name is Kemet or Kemet. So there's that. Bet Wendy won't say nothing to I bet Wendy won't say nothing to Monique because she'll slap you upside the head, which we've seen her do in the past. So Wendy so as they're talking about Shayo, Wendy says, you're not even pronouncing it right. So don't do her like that, because that's how you and Nika got into it when you say, you're supposed to pronounce your name Nika in Nigeria. And Nika was like, people call me Nika around here because they can't say, they don't know the Nigerian pronunciation of things, and I just let them call me Nika. So we get to Ashley. And Ashley is bisexual. Y'all, so many content creators are saying they didn't know Ashley was bisexual. How you didn't know? If she didn't come out to her granny about being bisexual, then she was surely enjoying those threesomes with Michael. Y'all don't recall that? She got a little... I believe that's why Candy was unhappy. I believe Candy has a bigger affinity for the women and the licky over the sticky, if you know what I mean. So Giselle and Monique do speak, and she told Giselle, she gives Giselle a compliment. She was like, you gave me some good advice, because when things are about Chris being he was a famous football player, he doesn't have a problem with you. But when things come about you, he has a problem. And that most men. When you get, especially if he's the breadwinner, and I mean a true breadwinner, like with millions, especially then. You have to dumb yourself down. I had 100,000 there that I thought to my spirit deep down was I thought he was marriage material, right? But the whole time I realized that I couldn't be myself around this person. I realized that this person was stealing my joy, stealing my spirit, and just being an overall butthole. So in many ways, I can understand where Monique was coming from, but a lot of what I experienced with Monique and Chris, I saw, and it just appeared that Monique was giving him a lot on DC. You have to go back and watch the first season of DC to understand what I'm talking about. And so once that conversation ends about him being a famous football player, we go to the next scene and we're talking to Tia. Tia is asked about, during the season, I forgot about that. Tia asked Monique what was the straw that broke the camel's back, and she told her, that was it. I mean, the communication, they did things with different in front of people and then behind closed doors. And when they got ready to do the sexy time, it was good and all good in the hood. And then right after, he would go back to treating her like shit. So she was like, I got up that morning, I gave him a little taste the night before, but when I got up that morning, I said, buddy, you will never enter me again. So in the next scene, we have Angel and Bobby in there looking for a home. They're looking for a home. Angel and Bobby. And Angel and Bobby go out to the patio, and Angela brings the damn catfish thing up again. Y'all, I cannot make this shit up. I'm sick of her. Sick of her bringing up that catfish thing. And the husband even told her, he was like, I'm listening, I love you, but it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. She was talking about how Wendy laughed. But your problem, just like Monique's problem should have been with Giselle, is with Giselle. I don't know why you ladies can't see that, but I know what the end game is. You think you get in good with Giselle, you are in with the show, and that's not necessarily how it works, because look at what happened to Roblé, aka Robin. So Giselle, Kiana, and Tia go out to dinner, and Giselle lets them know about her 10 million views with her show, Reasonably SHADEEE. I said it like she says it, okay? And she was like, they bring up about how Kiana was on a three-way call with Cookie and Chris. And Giselle was like, holla. Well, how does Chris know about what we were discussing? That was a lengthy conversation. And she says, Stacy. Because Stacy and him or whatever, she decides that she wants to go tell her. Now, all of this is started by who? Big Titty Cookie. So Wendy and Monique have a sit down talk, and it was necessary. And I will never say this. I will always stick to this. Wendy did the right thing. She wasn't necessarily sniffing up and behind Giselle. She was being a friend to Candace. Candace, who brought her on the show. So that's what her loyalty should have been. She had no reason to be loyal to Monique and her hands that couldn't stay to themselves. So they discussed Giselle, and she said, well, I think you and Giselle, Wendy says, I think you and Giselle need to talk. And they discuss Karen. And Wendy goes over the montage about how she thought Karen was her friend. But when they got to the reunion, for some reason, and I cannot figure out what in the hell did Wendy do to Karen for Karen to sit up there and act like Wendy wasn't her friend. Because at some point, I think that Wendy and her had to stick together because of Robin and Giselle's alliance. So I'm trying to figure out what caused, because Wendy wasn't talking bad about Karen when she ran over Bambi. So I'm trying to figure out what's the problem. But again, she thanked everybody except Wendy. And so Wendy had a problem. So they were talking about how they know that Cookie is alive because Mo said, y'all, I can't make this stuff up. She said that Monique said that Cookie said that Chucky, the founder of Go-Go Music, was her father. She said, that lady wasn't even no kin to that man. So that one I don't fool with. I would watch her if I were you, and watch bringing her around the group. Facts. That Cookie in them boobs, baby, squolled off in them damn clothes like Letitia from Bell Collector. No ma'am. Trouble. And you gonna find out. So Stacy goes with Arabella to her swimming lesson, and Mr. Timu is there. Timo, y'all, what is his name? A lot of people saying Timu. Why are they calling that man Timu? Is it Timo? Okay, Timo. I'm gonna say his name is Timo. So Timo is there with Stacy and Arabella, and Tia is also there, and at the swim lesson. Now, this is an awkward scene. I don't know why this was going on. I guess they felt like this was the only way that Tia would get to meet Timo. And so, she tells Stacy that Wendy and Eddie Hennessy were coming to a dinner, which she liked to come with Timo. And she said, no, Timo can't come because he's going out of town. When Stacy, this is how you get caught up. You should have just said, I don't want my dude around y'all bitches. And she said, but what I will do is bring him around the group when Giselle brings her old man around the group. Wendy says that she enjoys her company, but she says then she enjoys Stacy's company. But when they go out to this dinner, Wendy finds out that Stacy said that she only trusts Tia in the group, and she only feels a special closeness to Tia. And so Wendy's like, that's my friend. I'm finna call her. And so she calls her on the phone, and Stacy, with all her lies, she says, no, Wendy, of course. You know, I have a great affection for you. And Wendy's like, she's giving single black female at this point. She wants my life. Again, I don't know about that. I mean, she has some elements of single black female, but Stacy is so in the clouds in her own special orbit. I don't even think Stacy recognizes that. So we get down to the event, which is what we all want to discuss, right? So we at the event, and finally, did y'all see that doggone wet dog looking Sharice was there? This neither here nor there. So they get down to the event, and Giselle's like, because they about to get started, right? Giselle says she wants peace. Well, Tia can't have peace because Tia has to confront Stacy about her saying that Timu was going out of town. when in all actuality, Timu wasn't quite going out of town yet. That's what she told Wendy. I guess Stacey had forgotten that Wendy and old girl were going after them. So all of Stacey's lies is coming out, and then the ladies are like, well, this lady can't be anybody's friend because she lies too much. And so, opportunity. Kate sees it. Because Kate loves a good opportunity. We're going to call her the opportunist who loves to jump in opportune moments that don't have any damn thing to do with her. But hey, let's jump on in and say, speaking of friendship, you said that Chris, you told Cookie, Chris, you told Chris, I had to get it straight because there's so many players involved here. You told Chris that about Monique's conversation talking about he was bad in bed, and he was pissed because y'all were trashing him. And then she's like, who said that? And Stacey started pointing at Cookie. Cookie, don't you point your finger at me. And she said, I'll point my finger wherever I want to. Point. And she starts to point in Cookie's direction. She wasn't scared of them boobs. Because that's all she made out of, boobs and whatever else, you know. Great candidate for breast reduction. So she says, bravo. You have the personality, talking to Kay, you have the personality of a 0, but when you get around me, you take it up to a 10. Bravo, it's Star Trek. Woo! Woo, she gets Kay so together. Kay is mad. She tells her, I will never have you around my husband. You nobody's friend. And she said, girl, you don't have a husband. And y'all, the episode closes right there. And Stacey's face, shout out to School Days, is cracked and on the ground. Come on in. Enjoy this dual episode recap. I am caught up. Praise the good Lord. Okay? Come on in. Like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell button. You will be notified when I upload a video. Share the video. Because why sharing is indeed caring. And as I do when I close, I'm going to chunk up the deuces. But please share this video. If it's one person watching the video, share it so we can get out to the algorithm. And for some reason, like I said, my videos have gone from thousands, hundreds of views to single 2-digit views. So what's going on there? Something about not liking and something about not commenting. And I know you can do it. All right, I'm going to close there. Deuces.